Welcome, everyone. This is Marie Antonette Waite, your host here at the International Wealth Builders Radio Talk Show. We are here live on KCAA Radio Network, affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are also connected to Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android under Building Solid Foundations. And you can watch all our shows on demand if you are interested in subscribing to the Building Solid Foundations. Now, today I'm really excited because I have an amazing guest, and her name is Laleh Hanks. Laleh is the founder, CEO, and president of the America Choice Mortgage. She is a real estate broker and loan officer. I don't know what else title I can name her, but she pretty much does everything. So I want to welcome Laleh. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Friday and Happy New Year to you.
Yes, welcome to the International Wealth Builders.
Thank you. Congratulations on all your success and being out there everywhere. I love it.
Yes. Laleh is also one of our experts in the Finest Women in Real Estate TV talk shows. And she is a great educator on mortgage. She has given us a lot of information when it comes to, buying home and, a lot of the regulation on the mortgage industry. So I'm very, very impressed with her knowledge. And, I asked her to be our expert today because we're talking about building wealth. And as far as I know, Laleh has been a very successful businesswoman, and she has her business in the North County, San Diego. So, Laleh, can you tell us how it all started for you with the mortgage industry?
Sure. Yeah, actually, 9/11, that experience kicked me out of my previous career. I was in voluntary employee benefits, and I couldn't get anybody to call me back except a broker's office that was trying to recruit me. And after 3 months of crickets, I said, well, I kind of have no choice. I really thought I had my previous career figured out, but I know that turned life upside down for so many, and so many more than me. So my heart goes out to all those that, lost loved ones at that time. But I was fortunate enough to be pulled into the mortgage business. I actually wanted to be a pediatrician and then,
Wow.
yep, did the math on how much that would cost and how much time that would take. So I said, well, let me give sales a shot. And, my first job was selling copiers, and I actually did make six figures my first year, but I wasn't passionate about selling copiers.
Okay.
I was lucky to be passionate about my next career, but, life had a different plan. And I'm sure we've all had those moments where we have to pivot. And I went into the mortgage industry, and I had no idea. I'd gotten out of a few years of college, and I knew nothing. I felt completely green and naive, and I'm supposed to call people and help them with their mortgages. And my broker at the time said, don't worry, you'll know more than 9 out of 10 people that you talk to. And that was true. I got 18 loan applications my very first day, December 18th, 2001. And I learned a lot from that brokerage, but, things got very competitive, and I kind of felt like I needed to blaze my own trail with my own, I guess, integrity of how to do the business. And
Okay.
when I realized that, getting my license, to be a loan officer was only about a third or a fifth of what it would be to get my broker's license, I just went for it. So I've been a broker for about 17, 18 years, and I've had America Choice Mortgage that long, and it has developed
Wow.
into a network. So I have America Choice Benefits, America Choice Marketing, America Choice Mortgage. And, I'm able to kind of share my passion and my creativity that way as well, rather than just be behind each loan. But
Okay. So when you got into the mortgage, was it difficult to learn the technical part of the business?
it's definitely more difficult today than it was then. Compliance has gotten better.
Okay.
I remember it took 3 years before I even knew what a 4506T was to verify someone's tax returns. And,
Okay.
I saw a lot. There was a lot of stated programs. You just pay, 0.25% of your loan amount. So like on a $400,000 loan, it was $1,000, and you didn't have to supply anything. It was called a Nina. So of
Okay.
course that's easier for everybody. We would sell those all day long, especially when you're pulling people out of, sometimes double digit rates, maybe 9% rates, and you're giving them, 5.9 or whatever it might have been at the time with no docs. So things have changed, and I think in most cases for the better. There are still stated programs, but they're far more reasonable with regards to loan to value and credit history. But things have changed, and at the time it was more just how can I help this person? And what are the key
Mhm.
questions that I should ask? And then once I got that application, I'm like, what do I do with this?
Yes.
So in the beginning, it was, live and learn. But I picked up pretty quickly. I would consider myself fortunate to be smart and, tenacious. So I went for it. I think within the first year, I mean, I was probably doing 10 to 15 loans a month, but back then it was like could rub a couple pieces of paper together and create a loan. Today it's a
Wow.
little bit more cumbersome, but all for the better.
Okay. So that's a lot of loans for someone who is been in the industry for only a year.
Yeah, and then I built a team. So,
Okay.
I think my company was sad to see me go, but I was also sad to see some of the things that they were doing. And I just couldn't line up with some of that. It
Mm-hmm.
got really competitive. Lending Tree was out there. And so, people are just, they think the right question is, what's my rate going to be on the first phone call? But if somebody answers you what their rate's going to be on the first phone call without enough information to honestly, derive an accurate rate, that's the first thing you should do is run the other way. So,
Okay.
I do things different. I'm honest with people and I'm not going to tell them what they want to hear, and I'd rather be the bearer of good news, not the bearer of bad news. So I do my best to, you know, I guess I don't like lying. And if I missed a rate lock cutoff just because the time ran out, I'll wake up at 3 in the morning, are we there yet? So there's no way I could, lie to somebody intentionally and then
Mm-hmm.
deliver that bad news later. So that wasn't for me. So that's what motivated me to, create my company and learn how to run an entire business because
Okay.
trust me, that wasn't something I learned when I thought I was going to be a pediatrician.
Okay. So you've been talking to a lot of people that are potentially buyers, right, of homes, and
We're
or
Yeah,
what is
we do refinance and purchase. We
okay.
do some commercial. I work with a lot of veterans. That's one of my favorite products on the market. And a lot of first-time home buyers or people with, damaged credit. It's better
Mm-hmm.
to, get into a property and refinance later. So we do some FHA loans as well. We also have debt service loans, where basically it's a rental and you don't need to support the qualification by income, but by rental income. And then a big product that we believe is going to be helpful for people in the future would be home equity lines of credit, because most people have that shiny maybe 2-3% rate that they don't want to reset, but the cost of living is going up and credit card interest rates are not good to carry. So home equity lines of credit are popular right now, as well as the home equity conversion mortgage, which is sometimes referred to as a reverse mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
I like to refer to them as their actual name, which is a HECM, and
Okay.
that helps anybody over 62. If they have about 50% equity in the home, they can live in that home and not have to make any payments in it. The equity can pay the interest, and it's a great product, especially for seniors or people on fixed income. And the property values, for example, in California can be quite expensive. I've helped some families where their income didn't even cover the property tax bill.
Mm-hmm.
And financial stress can really, deteriorate your quality of life as well as your, mental health and, longevity. So I really feel like that's a great product going forward, especially with, baby boomers and people that did get into the market years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe their retirement doesn't quite look like what they hoped it would look like. And they can actually, leverage off of that asset rather than living in their asset.
Okay. I have a question for you.
Sure.
So, you get to see all the financial information of someone who is just, starting out. No, so if you see the information that might be, difficult for them to even buy a house, what do you do? How do you take them to the process where they can ultimately buy a house?
Yeah, well, I think the most important thing is to understand where the income is coming from and make sure that you only ask the client for the documents that are needed to support that income. So, for example, a lot of loan officers, will give somebody an entire list of items. Well, I don't need all of that. If you're a W-2 employee and you're salaried and you've had that job for years, then, why would I need your tax returns? I don't need those. And so I think that sometimes just simplifying what documents are needed is half the battle. I joke and say that I'm a passionate fifth grade math teacher and a paperwork motivator, because at the end of the day, that is my job, is to just get the paperwork together so that we can qualify you. And that feels cumbersome, just like doing our taxes or whatever mundane paperwork feels like for anybody. especially when it's yours. It's a little bit more emotional,
Mm-hmm.
just like anybody else. I'll find everything else to do but clean my kitchen if I'm not in the mood to clean it. All of a sudden everything else is done, but I wait, 2 hours to do what took me 20 minutes. So I think a lot of it is psychological. It's just, getting there, understanding what you need, and then at that point I can qualify you and let you know what that documentation can afford you.
Okay.
Oftentimes people have other parties involved, but maybe their credit score or other things don't improve the file situation. So in cases like that, where there's multiple streams of income, we might use a bank statement loan. Maybe we go 12 months bank statements or 24 months. And then for some self-employed, we can even do a P&L program. So there are other options, but we always like to start with, exhausting to get the best rate possible. So we look at, full income first, help people understand how that's qualified and calculated. And then from there, we can always look at other documentation options to still reach their goal. Otherwise, we plan backwards with them so that they can be set up for the future.
Yeah, I remember when I first tried to buy my house, and the loan officer that we were working with, yeah, he was asking for all this information. And sometimes you have to think that, is it okay for me to disclose everything to someone that I don't know? And
Yeah,
I think part of it is having that comfort level in working with someone. And if they feel like, okay, I can trust this person, then I can disclose all the information, right?
right.
And so,
Well,
yeah.
there are some ways to be a little bit more safe about that. I don't
Okay.
like just emailing something from Gmail and then it's sitting in your sent folder. So I recommend, once, if you are using, an email account, especially if you don't own that server, it's a good idea, once you know that that documentation landed where you wanted it to go, delete it from sent and then delete it from deleted. Because if your email ever gets hacked, then at least that information is gone and removed from there. So that's one, you know, I guess, sloppy safety measure. We use Dropbox, which is like a bank level encrypted, cloud server. So I share a folder with a borrower and only they can access that folder. So that's normally how we kind of protect our clients, information from.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to expand that discussion, but we're going to take a commercial break right now. This is the International Wealth Builders. Please don't go away. We're going to take a commercial break. And we are here with Laleh Hanks, who is the founder, real estate broker of the America Choice Mortgage.